Hello, and welcome to Phase 2 of my smaller MCU, less movies. So I actually decided to name the phases. Phase 1 is the beginning. Phase 2 is Ultron. You will see why soon. Remember, this is an MCU where all the movies take place way later. We ended off with the Avengers in May 2015, 3 years after it released in the real world. So, Phase 2 starts with Captain America the Winter Soldier, which did not start Phase 2 in the real world. And it releases 2 years and a little bit after it did in the real world. So, well, later. Yeah. So, a bit later. Not too much at all. There's a lot bigger differences. It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, just a bit earlier in the timeline, technically. Also later. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy. May 2017. I think less than 2 years, less than 2.5 years. No, more than 2.5 years. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Is it? Yeah. More than 2.5 years after the original Guardians of the Galaxy. So, yeah. It just happens a bit later. Then you have Thor the okay, the image didn't work. That's just the Thor the Dark World banner. I think you all know what it is. November 2017. 4 years later than it released in the real world. That's insane. And it also happens after Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain America the Winter Soldier in this timeline. There's also no Iron Man 3, if you didn't notice. And then we have Avengers Rise of Ultron. I've decided to split them into 2 movies. I just chose this random image of it because it kind of worked better in the actual banner. Just pretend that says Rise of Ultron. It's in April 2018, almost 3 years after the real world Age of Ultron released. But this is just the first one, where Ultron rises. At the end of this movie, he defeats the Avengers. He has an army of robots, and he's ready to destroy humanity, along with Wanda and Pietro, who are still with him, and also he's about to make Vision. Well, Vision is actually showcased in the post-credit scene. He's making it. Then in July 2018, we have Ant-Man. This is in between this happens at the same time as Rise of Ultron, kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp in Infinity War, and Ant-Man will appear in Age of Ultron. But July 2018, 3 years after the real world, not that, well, actually, yeah, pretty big. Like an average one for this timeline. But basically, in this timeline, Marvel just started way later, and they released so they obviously released their movies later, but the story's kind of the same. Then Age of Ultron, this is where they actually defeat Ultron. Wanda and Pietro join the Avengers, who Ultron thinks he has killed, but they actually survived. And then they also get Vision, who joins them. It's in April 2019, a year after Rise of Ultron, and almost 4 years after the real world Age of Ultron. And that's it. Bye.